Main event, part of ESPN's Feast Week, presented by Lowe's. And we've reached the final bout here at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Utah State, a resounding victory over St. Mary's by 17 yesterday. And Arizona State sliding by number 15 Mississippi State to reach the finals. Glad to have you with us tonight. I'm Mike Cousins, along with former Notre Dame forward Jordan Cornette. And Jordan, we're only in the opening chapter of this year's college basketball season. There's a lot to learn, including the names of some freshmen. We'll start with the Sun Devils and Lugansdorf.
Get to know that name. It's a mouthful, but so is the game, Mike. I mean, a beautiful blend of physicality, athleticism, sprinkle in some finesse. He can knock down a three, but with that frame at 6'4", it's pure muscle. He can finish amongst the trees. And how about this? Just power to elevate, bounce back ability. He is a force to be reckoned with. On the other side, the big fella, Neemias Queta, another mouthful. The rim protector, 6'11", the freshman at a coming out party a few nights ago. Finishing at the rim, simplifying the game, and we're in Vegas. How about some showmanship?
He knows. Craig Smith, his first-year head coach, came back to the locker room, checked his phone. Only 117 congratulatory text messages. That's a heck of a way to go to 5-0. And Bobby Hurley on the other side in his fourth year got his fifth win against an AP top 25 team. Took his team as high as number 3 in the rankings last year. And with a win here today, we'll get them to 5-0.
Playing for a championship here, Mike. Let's go. Let's go.
It's a good Arizona State contingent here last night, including Phil Mickelson in town for his one-on-one match with Tiger Woods coming up on Friday. And off we go here from Las Vegas. It's Queta at center circle, Utah State in the blue and white, and Arizona State in the road uniforms. Romello White, the redshirt sophomore at 6'8", ready to tip it up. Ray Natili, Kelly Self, and Marquise Pettigrew are the officials here this evening. It's a difficult defensive assignment tonight for whoever has to try and stop number 1 in maroon, Remy Martin, their sophomore point guard, and it starts out as Crew Ainge, who had the first look on him. Lawrence is turned away.
Picking up where he left off, help side defender, that length at 6'11". Queta might not have the show-stopping block, but he alters a lot. Right there, gets a deflection.
Now here's Sam Merrill, big scorer yesterday, 23 points to go along with 8 assists. And it's Ainge who starts the scoring. He only plays 11 minutes a game, but the sophomore hits the 3.
A team with great balance, never know who's going to step up.
Martin yesterday, 16 points, perhaps even more impressive. 7 assists and no turnovers. Rebound down to Taylor. And here comes Merrill, the team's leading scorer at 21 tonight. Miller yesterday from beyond the arc was 2 for 3. 1 on 2 for Dort, who soars through the lane and leaves it with too much off the window. Ainge pushes, he finds Miller again, and he makes him pay.
Crew Ainge gets it from his daddy Danny, pushing it up the floor, finding shooters, making an impact early. He could account for 6 points out of the game.
Ainge, despite his limited playing time, just more than 10 minutes a night, has started all 5 games. And Craig Smith, his head coach, told us at his position, at Ainge's spot, it's more of a feel thing because it's such a crowded position. A lot of guys fighting for playing time there, so whoever is the most productive on a given night is going to earn the most minutes.
Well, that's a challenge, Mike, because guys can get tentative, always looking over their shoulder if they make a mistake. But so far, Ainge answering the call.
Arrow fades short corner. Not a pretty look there. Martin with his eyes always up. Here's Lawrence driving baseline. He's contacted by Ainge on the way up. And the sophomore Lawrence is going to the stripe.
And Mike, I'll talk about the big fella all night long. At 6'11", he's a shot blocker, rim protector. Remy Martin's only 6 feet tall, but look at the shot attempt he must take because of the trees supplanted underneath the rim. It just makes life difficult.
Queta, the freshman from Portugal, 6'11". It's a guy who was recruited by them via phone, essentially. They never went to go see him overseas. At least Craig Smith, his head coach, didn't. There was a lot of talking on the phone, a lot of text messaging. He committed to them in May and then officially was announced he was coming to school at the end of August. So you're talking about right before the start of classes. That was a big commitment and a big gift for them.
And he's still learning because of that, not being able to spend time with the team in the summer. Figuring it out as he goes.
First look for him, soft touch as he turns over the shoulder.
It's a big-time finish. Defensively, look, this is a long Arizona State team, but these are 6'7" guys trying to challenge versus 6'11". It's rare air up there.
One dribble, White gets the bucket and the foul, working against Keita.
There's your blueprint. You talk about the length of Keita. Well, if you just go at him and just try and lay it up over him, he's going to alter it or he's going to block it. You got to use that physicality. At 6'8", White is put together. Put your body into create some space, then you've got a clean look. Muscle can beat Keita. Elevation and length cannot. Look, just give him a little bump. See if the big fella wants to play with some physicality. Can't block that.
Foul went on Quinn Taylor. Keita was the primary defender there, but it's the first on Taylor, who fouled out of the win on Monday night. Cheatham's got the board, ready to run, off for Dort, and he scores, driving right through Sam Merrill. Pure muscle from Lugens Dort.
Dort, get your weight up, not your hate up, right at the body.
What's his biggest strength may also be detrimental to him throughout the year, of not slowing down when he gets into the lane, but that was a play of beauty.
But for now, his biggest strength is his strength.
Double team comes, Ainge takes the pass, drops it for Taylor, who fires it off of Cheatham, and there are 3 seconds left to shoot.
Arizona State out of the gates, a little tentative, trying to figure out Utah State and what they're going to see. It's back to controlled chaos now, where they're at their best, flying around, making plays.
Tarian Knight, Dwayne Brown Jr., and Diogo Brito into the game for the Aggies. They've got to get a shot off. Brito gets an open look and cans it. Making it look a lot easier than it is coming off the bench.
A couple Portuguese guys making an impact early. You got Brito and you got the big fella, Keita. Only two of the 4 Portuguese players in college basketball on display right now.
Martin quick shot. He was able to knock that down a few times on Monday night. And the lead stays 4 for Utah State. Foul on the baseline as Brown gets bumped. Talk about hang time. It wasn't just a show back in the day. It's Dort right now.
I mean, look, we're not freezing video right here. That is elevation and pause. We told you he's great. Dort has more to offer. Stick around. Don't go anywhere.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Hurry in today for huge Black Friday savings.
You know, there's the song, it's the most wonderful time of the year for the holiday season. When it comes to basketball, though, there's the most wonderful spot on the floor, and it's right around the basket for Keita.
Yeah, Keita still learning, incredibly high ceiling, but what he does is carves out space and simplifies it. Catch, turn right at the goal, elevate. He doesn't waste any time, very decisive.
Off the window for a pair for Sam Merrill, the junior from Bountiful, Utah.
About this, we played 5 minutes of basketball. Neither team has turned the ball over. Incredible execution out of the gates.
Dort goes right through 2 defenders. Fakira and Merrill tried to elevator door him, and his shoulders proved to be strong enough to get through.
And that's an element of his game I've yet to see here in Vegas. Tempo, a very controlled finish from Dort.
An uncontrolled shot from Brown. Ends up in the hands of the Sun Devils, down by 4.
Now there's the flip side, Mike. You get a basket, A great finish, but then you force it against 3 defenders. Got to move that thing.
When we spoke with Bobby Hurley this afternoon at their practice, we asked him about that, about Dort specifically going into the lane and not using a jump stop or not using a pull-up. And he said, right now, we're just going to let him learn as he goes.
Yeah, look at the wiggle right there. Just enough to stand that defense up. And once you freeze him with his burst and explosion, he gets to the rim freely and finishes.
I think it's a difficult balance with a player who you know you're not going to have for 4 years, not even maybe 3 years, like a player like Dort. And so how much do you try and mold him to what you think he can be versus letting him develop and learn game in and game out?
Well, if he's going to learn, he's got the right coach to do it at the guard spot in Bobby Hurley.
Merrill off to a great start. 5 points for him out of the 16 for Utah State.
The Aggies have been very efficient offensively out of the gates to make this thing not only competitive, but to start to open it up.
Cross-court look into the hands of Tayshaun Cherry, a guy who they say is just rounding into form. The freshman from California, number 44 in the ESPN 100, working his way through a knee injury in the early season. A bit of a banged-up Arizona State team after a hard-fought 5-point win over Mississippi State on Monday night. They had waited a week to play because they had a game last Friday canceled at San Francisco because of air quality concerns. Brown lost it under the basket, and then after this one, they don't play for another week.
Missed opportunity there for the Aggies. Had to catch Brown. I think he was a little surprised how open he was and gave it away. Can Arizona State capitalize? Arizona State is just seeing, oh, that's that ankle. Absolutely, with Remy Martin. Something's been bothering him. Wasn't sure if he'd go 2 nights ago. Not only did he go, 16 points, 7 assists, 0 turnovers. Asked him today how he felt. Said about 70%. You hope that's not declining if you're a Sun Devils fan.
Cheatham steps through to make it a 2-point game. Martin didn't practice yesterday as the Sun Devils came out here and took the floor, and he was with the team this afternoon for their shoot-around, but was a very limited participant. Everybody else who was in full shorts and practice gear, and he was in sweatpants and a shirt, lobbing up some shots as he went.
Yeah, now Remy's a gamer. He's one of the guys I've enjoyed watching most here in Vegas. That thing's hurting him. Towel over his head. He's in pain.
Knight lowers the shoulder. He gives it up. And John Knight III is pushed away. And both sides a little bit surprised with that call.
Yeah, how about the fight from Knight to even get that thing back as a guard? Take a look. Couldn't get it the first time. Great defense from Lake. Teammates can't get it. Looks like were they going to call Keita for moving, clearing him out there.
Yeah, they sent it the other way.
Wow.
Hence the disbelief.
Yeah, you got ISO here. You got to get Cheatham space to play.
Quite a turn of emotions there for Cheatham, where he was worried about giving a charge, and then he gets called for the over-the-back foul.
Well, it's impressive. You make the catch down low, you're Cheatham. You think you have the advantage on a 6'2 defender in Knight III. But again, Keita is posted up in the middle of the paint, and that presence alone disallows Cheatham from making a confident move at the rim.
Cheatham with the foul picks up his second, so he goes to the bench.
His presence looms so large, and that's all we've seen throughout this time in Vegas. When he's in the paint, it scares the opposition. They simply do not want to go in, and if they do, they're taking shots they're not accustomed to taking, floating that thing higher than they're comfortable floating it. He may have only tallied 5 shot blocks 2 nights ago. Credit him for about 15 alters in that game defensively.
It's a very different lineup right now for Arizona State. You have no Remy Martin getting his leg worked on. You have Cheatham, a major contributor in the early season with 2 fouls sitting, and we're only 8 minutes into the first half. Pass from Keita too high. Looking for Brito in the corner. Back to the Sun Devils. Keita, big man in the paint. When we come back, a look at his long wingspan and a comparison to a name you'll know. Neemias Keita grew up in Portugal, but there were guys he loved to watch in college basketball. Mo Bamba was one of them. Wingspan, a 6-inch difference. Nevertheless, both of them, when they're in the paint, intimidating presences.
Yeah, absolutely. Those guys could hug the entire city of Las Vegas looking right there. But yes, it's that length that alters everything offensively from the opposition. You simply don't want to go into uncharted territory when he's in that paint.
Bamba was one of the guys he loved to watch. DeAndre Ayton was another one he mentioned. And he and his teammate Diogo Brito make up 50% of Portuguese-born players in college basketball this year.
And most importantly, Mike, he hasn't fallen in love with the three-point shot quite yet. So you still have the naivety in that respect.
Miller had the steal. And here comes Merrill.
Got to get Lawrence going. Been a hot hand for this team early this season.
Foul on the dump down to DeQuan Lake.
Ooh, that's a big-time play. Knew exactly what he wanted to do with it on the delivery. Caught the defense off guard, quite frankly. Didn't expect. Felt Keita, great body control, spin and win.
So 16 all. Utah State coming into the game yesterday against St. Mary's had not faced a top 150 Ken Pom ranked opponent. You surprised at where the score is right now, almost midway through the first half?
Yeah, I am. I thought the length and athleticism of Arizona State would be problematic for the Aggies. But this team has some athletes of their own and definitely some talent.
So Keita sits with 2 fouls. You've got Cheatham for the Sun Devils sitting with a pair of his own.
Kick out.
Taylor missed it short. Last 8 points scored by Arizona State.
It's good offense. I mean, it's you got the dribble drive, you command a double team, you kick out to a shooter, a capable shooter who just can't convert, but got to be happy with the possession.
Mickey Mitchell, number 3 for Arizona State, at the top of your screen. Only plays about 8 minutes a game, but at least in the first half, that number is going to get a run for its money, given the injury and foul trouble that they're working with right now. So we mentioned the point guard spot. It can rotate. John Knight III in there. Crew Ainge started the game. Free throw distance jumper is off back iron. And a foul under the basket against ASU. And it's on Dort.
Now these are the missed opportunities for the Sun Devils. When they're at their best, it's in transition. It's playing in space, and it's letting that athleticism come to the forefront. If you can't get stops and the ball remains down here, or they're seeing conversions, it takes away a big part of the Sun Devils game.
Up, under, and 1. A textbook move from Taylor.
Great coaching can get you a couple of these a game. Scoring off out of bounds under. Got to know where the ball is. Lake falling asleep at the wheel, and Taylor, senior, makes him pay.
And turns it into a 2-point Aggies lead. Remy Martin got extensive treatment on his leg, and he comes back in. We'll see what kind of speed he's working with here after having that towel over his head and a grimace hidden underneath it.
I don't know where he's going with that one.
Knight to the basket between Martin and Mitchell. And that's got Bobby Hurley livid.
Remy Martin returning to the floor is a welcome presence for the Sun Devils. He is the straw that stirs the drink. A lot of talk about Dort, a lot of talk about Lawrence's early performance, but it's Remy Martin that gets these guys in line, puts them in positions to score. 16 points, 7 assists, no turnovers 2 nights ago in their first appearance in Vegas.
He had only 14 points in their first 2 games and now has 31 in the last 2. So he's come on as a big scorer. So far 0 for 2 tonight.
Sets the pace for the team. I mean, he gets them out in transition. He's usually the guy handling. So they need his speed for the open floor.
No Dort on the court right now. See who the scorer is. Martin drew contact, not enough for a whistle. Merrill with the ball, widely praised as a very intelligent player. Did a good pass. Taylor couldn't finish, he walked. Get a chance to see some high-quality teams in the Advocare Invitational. Florida State out of the ACC. Will Wade in year number 2, bringing in a great recruiting class to pair with Tremont Waters there, the number 19 team in the country. And of course, Memphis got great news, picking up the number 1 recruit in the country, James Wiseman.
Penny Hardaway paying immediate dividends in Memphis.
Played for him in high school and with the Bluff City Legends on the summer circuit as well. Strong move, no finish from White. No Keita, remember, he's got 2 fouls, so their inside presence right now is limited. Can't leave Merrill with an open look, though. He comes up short, now 2 for 5. Cherry runs the floor and gets bumped by Merrill. First foul on the junior for Utah State.
That's what the Sun Devils need more of. They got their defensive stop, the domino effect. Allows them to get out and run, get out in transition, and start to create that early offense. That hasn't been there, and that's why you've seen this so far be an Aggies game.
Is that something that's got to come from the players knowing that, or do they need to hear it from the sideline? How do they get that going?
Yeah, that's well, you see Coach Hurley preaching, get stops, because he understands what comes from getting those stops is inevitably that early offense. It's a team that's born to run. 6'7" long athletes, a point guard built like a running back or a linebacker, and Dort could be a 2-way football player. Herm Edwards would probably love to have on that football team. These guys got to be able to run. They're not at their best in the half court. Utah State has slowed this game down, exactly what Coach Smith wanted.
Dribble handoffs looking for the open man. They find Brown. The shots have not been dropping for the Aggies, but they hold on to a 21-19 lead, 8:24 to go. Neither team even clearing 40% from the floor right now on offense, which is what the Aggies have expected. Granted, the competition level for them taking a huge jump, facing St. Mary's and now Arizona State. Illegal screen called on White, his first foul.
So let's see the screen. Oh, yeah. White just said, forget it, I'm getting a body on 2 guys.
And he turned to the official, he said, I rolled. However, the problem is you can't displace 2 players when you do it.
He said, find a body. He found a couple of them, all right.
And now Dort calling for the same treatment at the other end. He doesn't get it as he clashes with 6'10" Ben Fakira, and Merrill turns it into 2 more. Now Dort bowling balls his way down the lane, count the bucket, and 1. That's the second foul on Merrill. So the 2 most important scorers for Utah State each have 2 fouls. Craig Smith will have a message for his team now. He also wrote them one earlier today. We'll share that with you when we come back to Las Vegas. Physicality has been the name of the game so far.
A lot of it. Look at the screen right there. White going to find bodies. It's a tough Arizona State team. Lugens Dort, 6'4", built like a football player. So you see the force on full display right there, right? Well, in talking with Utah State's head coach, Coach Craig Smith, he said, hey, my team needs to play like this. He had a message for me. He wrote down the message. Take a look right there. You see that? We need to play with force. They're going to try to big boy us. Coach Smith not only gave his team the message, he hand wrote it to me as he sits there and talked to his players. Well, they bought in. You want to know why, Mike? Because look at the score. Utah State leading by 2. But more importantly, how about this stat? 10-10 in rebounding. Utah State has not allowed one offensive rebound from Arizona State in this game. I think that's getting a message.
That piece of paper, by the way, was off my legal pad. So can I expense that? Because I didn't authorize that as a usage of my paper.
As overpriced as everything is in Vegas, you could probably get $5 to $10 for it.
Another blocking foul called against the Aggies. This time it's Ainge who's the unlucky defender in front of Dort.
It's that gear. Now the mentality for Utah State is there to get the charge. But Dort is simply so fast and explosive, you can't execute the game plan of getting in front of him and take that charge.
This is where Utah State's depth is going to be put to a test as well, because Craig Smith was very happy about how in 3 of their first 4 games, he'd played 11 players in the first half of those games, but there's a difference between having depth and then having quality depth as well. And here's where they see that challenge come to fruition, 23 all. How about this? Playing 5 outside right now.
Making you guard.
Mismatch.
Making you guard, spreading you out with spacing.
6 to shoot for Brito. Had 2 defenders with him. A cross-court kick, and Knight the third. Gets the foul with 1 on the shot clock.
Nothing more demoralizing than that. Now, take a look at this. We talk about Dort and his explosion, aggressive nature. Tale of 2 plays. Right here, deliberate, cerebral, 1 gear gets to the rim. Great play. A few possessions later, same driving gap. 3 defenders, poor decision. Uses that same gear. But how about a couple retreat dribbles? Swing it. 3 defenders right there. 2 guys are open. It's a numbers game.
Well, it's kind of like driving 80 on the highway, no matter what the speed limit is. Sometimes you're going to get a ticket. Sometimes you're going to get away with it.
Mike, go the speed limit wherever you are, man. I don't know about that analogy.
I endorse and fully practice only driving at or below the legal limit on roads in the continental United States.
There's your disclaimer.
Yeah, when I go to Alaska, watch out.
Words that'll never come out of my mouth.
Cheatham on the take. And right now, just driving into the lane, floating up and seeing what you can get has been a pretty good strategy for ASU.
Arizona State, we just talked about it. You got to play with force, as Coach Smith was preparing his guys for. It's an Arizona State team that likes to get into the paint, make those officials blow the whistle. They are making more free throws than the opposition is taking, which speaks to how they play.
They make about 22 a game, which is about what the opposition shoots against them. I love that. And talking to Craig Smith, he's got all the numbers right on the tip of his tongue.
And there's your first offensive rebound. What a pass. How about the hands of Lawrence? Because White put some sauce on that pass at close range to be able to handle and rise up. Impressive from Lawrence. Now here's some big boy basketball. White hit him. Threw that thing to, felt the double, kicked it down low. Beautiful interior passing.
Lawrence, such an integral part of this team's 4-0 start after early last year, the day before the season opener, fractured the 5th metatarsal in his left foot and kept him out until January. He missed the team's first 13 games, which was their blazing start to the season and ascension to the top 25. By the time he came back, he was essentially lost in the shuffle. If you wanted to be on this team and be a successful part of it, you had to be able to run, have your conditioning down, and he wasn't able to catch up. Now averaging 17 a game to start the year.
And Coach said one of the hardest working guys on the team. That'll get you to a place like this where Lawrence finds himself.
Miller with a deep three. And for as good as the Sun Devils look now, they're without Rob Edwards, the Cleveland State transfer.
There it is.
Martin had a wide open look. He passed it up for Cheatham. Grabs his own miss and has it taken away by Taylor. Brown going 3-on-4. Pulls up at the free throw line and ties the game at 26.
Dort finally does what we ask of him. Gets it in the teeth of the defense, sees the attention, kicks out. Remy Martin had to take that shot. A little too selfless.
Cheatham wanted to go high-low. Brown had sagged off. White turns and misses wide right.
They're able to pack that defense in on Cheatham when he catches beyond the three-point line, daring him to shoot.
Ten on the shot clock. Perseverance pays off for Brown.
It's all day. That's 6'6" versus 6-foot defender. We say mouse in the house, you call for the basketball, meaning the size can't contend. Size mattered on that possession.
For as much pain as Remy Martin looked to be in earlier, he's come back and played with just about the same aggression and speed that he's normally got on display. It's a third chance there on the rebound for Arizona State, dominating on the offensive glass.
Now, we called for Dort to understand when the defense hones in on him. Gets three defenders on him, understands it, kicks it out. You can't get more open than that. Remy, you got to shoot there. Paralysis by analysis, overthinking it.
Let me present the other side of that team. Martin's 2 for 14 from the three-point line. It was 0 for 3 on Monday.
How many of those 14 shots were that pristine, where you were wide open, nobody in the gym, Mike? And that's what you got to think about. You're a college basketball player. You're a skilled guy with a very gifted mid-range. When you're that open, that's a high percentage shot you got to take. You got to make the defense respect you.
He's going to earn some respect with that pickpocket. He gives for Lawrence. Dort again, trying to pass in a crowded area. Mitchell goes up, and the former Ohio State Buckeye will shoot a pair. The fouls are piling up right now for the Aggies. The Bad Boy Mowers battle for Atlantis. How about Anthony Grant, the big win over Butler, 69-64. That sets up a great matchup with number 4 Virginia, the Flyers and the Cavaliers.
You really like that Virginia team. You've been trying to sell me on them.
Big fan of them.
A lot of people were hurt last year by what they did in March, but I believe in Tony Bennett, so you can sell me pretty easily on what Virginia's doing.
Well, you thought Virginia fans were hurt. We had Phil Mickelson join us the other day, former Arizona State national champion in golf. Of course, here for his match with Tiger on Friday. Do you think he's hurt that his prediction for an undefeated Duke season has now gone down the drain?
Yeah, that hot take went cold fast.
Martin's ahead of the field. Oh, what a finish! Dort running behind, soars and slams. Timeout, Utah State.
Give 0 a 10 on that putback. The 6'4" guard. How about some athleticism right there? Lou gets Dort. That one's on your mother, your sister, your brother, your cousin. That's on the family here in Vegas. Dort putting on.
Lugens Dort out of Montreal. We can officially say Air Canada Flight 0 cleared for takeoff.
So fun to watch. If you break him down, he's got the athleticism of a Victor Oladipo. He's got the handle, that ball on a string, like a Drew Holiday. And that Russell Westbrook motor allows for flare finishes like that. A unique guy. You hear so much about Zion Williamson. Understandably so. You talk about you haven't seen a body like that. This guy ain't far off at a guard spot at 6'4", how he's put together. He's a next-level guy right now.
It was a multiple-year recruiting process for Bobby Hurley and his staff to get Lugansdort to come to Tempe. And he said when he first saw him play in AAU basketball, what stood out most was the fact that he was willing to pick up defense full court, when most players over the summer don't want to play defense at all.
You know how I got on those top lists, AAU basketball as an offensive guy? Because, Mike, nobody played defense in AAU. That's how you shine. I fooled a lot of college scouts that way. But no, in all seriousness, it's that motor. When I compare him to Russell Westbrook, it's that desire to win, that competitive spirit. Well-conditioned athlete, too.
Utah State's Ben Fakira, 21 in white, picks up his second foul, putting Mitchell at the line. Mitchell played his high school basketball, Plano West in Texas. Tyler Davis, DJ Hogue, a couple of former Texas A&M Aggies. Got into real great shape when he got to campus, dropped about 20 pounds, working out with the strength and conditioning staff to get into playing shape. Never Miller's got space, he's taking that shot. Empty on the three. And he's just 1 for 4 tonight. Merrill defending Martin with 2 fouls. We've not seen Keita back onto the floor, the big man for the Aggies, saving him for the second half. How about it? He's hitting those shots. It can be a long night for Pac-12 opponents.
You have to respect the three-point shot with how he pursues gaps. Woo-hoo!
Miller gets inside the arc, the tip in from Brown. See how much they go inside the arc after from three-point range. Utah State made 3 of their first 5, and they've only made 1 of their last 7, but still a 2-point game. Lawrence with a hand in his face. Cash. A much-needed trifecta from Miller. 42% shooter coming into the game. It was just a matter of time before another one dropped for him.
And again, it's that length. A 6'6" shooter, you can contest as much as you want, but at 6 feet tall like Remy Martin, it does nothing.
Dort's got a head of steam.
Got to use the left.
Bench stands to applaud the stop from Lake, stopping Brown from driving baseline. Taylor, too easy under the basket. And a timeout, Arizona State. Craig Smith of Utah State on the left, Bobby Hurley of Arizona State on the right. Good friends on the recruiting trail for many years, but their styles could not be more different. Demeanor and even dress here over these last couple days in Las Vegas. When Smith was an assistant at Colorado State under Tim Miles, they had Bob Hurley Sr., a longtime head coach at St. Anthony High School in New Jersey, come out, do a clinic. Said it was the first time he'd ever been out to Colorado before. And then after that, he asked Craig Smith, hey, you guys go out and recruit in the East? He said, no, coach, not really. And he said, well, you should. So he started to recruit the Northeast a little bit more. At that time, Hurley was an assistant at Wagner, and they would cross paths on the recruiting trail and ended up in a lot of hot, packed summer gyms sitting next to each other and becoming good friends. 2 to shoot. And Brito didn't realize it. So one final shot to end the half for Arizona State, which will lead by at least a bucket.
That's huge for this Arizona State team. To get that kind of stop, now you're in position. This has to be Dort downhill at the rim. With his build, avoiding a charge, but you got to make a play going at the rim. This is what he's made for.
Instead, he wants 3 and just left it short. So Dort unable to complete the last play, but he's got a game-high 14 right now of Arizona State's 37.
An impressive performance out of that first half. Energy starting to come alive for those Sun Devils.
2-point game at the break. The main event in Las Vegas. You're watching MGM Resorts Main Event, part of ESPN's Feast Week, presented by Lowe's. Along with former Notre Dame forward Jordan Cornette, Mike Cousins, back here with you inside T-Mobile Arena. 2-point game. If you took a blind resume of this game right now and you eliminated the score from the box sheet, I think you would say Utah State might have the advantage. They led for almost 12 minutes of that first half. They got more rebounds than did Arizona State, and they held Arizona State on 2-point field goals to shooting 35%, and yet they find themselves down by 2.
Yeah, Mike, on rebounds alone, I'd stop you and say, yeah, Utah State's winning because they've met the physicality of the opposition in the Sun Devils.
When you talk about the 2-point field goal percentage, Utah State, again, small sample size, having played just 5 games but won them all, number 1 in all of college basketball entering play today in what they've limited the opposition to from 2-point field goal range, 33%. And it's at 35% right now. Keita's back on the floor, but he turns it over. A travel right in front of his own bench. A crucial part of their offense and defense, but especially offensively after on Monday night, scoring 24 points, grabbing 9 rebounds, and blocking 5 shots.
We'll be curious to see how he adjusts, having sat so much of that first half with some foul trouble. Can he lock back in?
Zylan Cheatham for Arizona State, 45, also had 2 fouls in the first half. He played 11 minutes. There's Dort with the give for Cheatham, guarded straight up. Foul goes on Taylor, that's number 2 on the forward. There's only 2 guys in all of college basketball who have had stat lines like this season. Zion Williamson, the number 2 player in the ESPN 100, and as you know, a standout for Duke, who's lost its first game today. And Neemias Keita, the unheralded recruit from Portugal for Utah State.
I'll do you one better, Mike. Only one of them is undefeated.
Duke could have been the first team in the AP poll era to have 3 top 10 wins before Thanksgiving. They pulled it out today against Gonzaga, but instead they lose for the first time. Nevertheless, though, we've had Duke be part of 2 top 5 matchups already this season, and Friday on ESPN2, 9 Eastern from Brooklyn, we'll have another one as Kansas takes on Tennessee, number 2 versus number 5.
Tell you, it's a good thing that those freshmen from Duke lost. Makes them more hungry, allows them to lock in, not worry about going undefeated, which was never going to happen.
Miller's shot put it up, back iron. Keita connects with Dort, and it's a 5-on-4 for the time being. They find Lawrence in the corner. That was where he sealed the game from the 3-point line yesterday, late for Arizona State in its win against number 15 Mississippi State. And nobody stopped Merrill. It'll be the first time in the AP poll era, 3 top 5 games before the start of December. Tennessee, Kansas, 9 Eastern on ESPN2. Here's a little quiz for you. Do you know when the AP poll started?
1950.
Close, 1948-49 season. That was a good guess.
That was purely a guess, my friend.
I would have been way off.
Of note there on the drive, Keita picked up his 3rd foul. That's notable. 18 minutes left to play. The big fella now has to totally readjust. Can't be the shot blocking presence and potentially the scorer that he wants to be in that kind of trouble. Interesting that coach elects to keep him in the game.
What Craig Smith, the head coach of Utah State, told us about the fouls that Keita was bothered with earlier in the season, he called them fouls of exuberance, just being too excited sometimes. Get excited about that, a 3-pointer from Merrill. traveling to call against Lawrence. Sports Center tonight after Thunder Warriors on ESPN. It is reunion night after all. LeBron got a standing ovation and a win at the Q in Cleveland. Reaction from that. Zion Williamson's top plays for the Maui Classic, and Andrew Luck's amazing comeback season. He's thrown the second most touchdowns in the league this year. A look inside the numbers. Sports Center, ESPN, and the ESPN app. I thought it was pretty cool watching the reception for LeBron this time around. Once they said the forward from St. Vincent St. Mary High School.
Yeah, you gotta love that. You called it reunion, and that's what it's been labeled as, but it feels more like revenge. LeBron going back. Obviously, everyone knows the history with the Thunder and the Warriors. Thanks to KD.
Cheatham, two-hand flush to launch the Sun Devils back in front by one.
Launch is a perfect word, Mike, there. It allows that transition game, Arizona State, to get out and go. Maybe that'll liven up this defense.
Ainge drops for Keita. Past Miller out of a shot. Merrill, no. Tip ball ends up with Taylor. This is the same energy that propelled Utah State to a win yesterday. Bench on its feet and relentless rebounding.
Arizona State on the cusp of getting that free-flowing style game that they so desperately want here. But then Taylor, a senior, goes out there, makes a play like that and says, not quite yet. We're going to slow this thing down. Extra possessions are going to come our way.
41 all, that win over St. Mary's yesterday. First team they played in the KenPom Top 150, but it was also a statement win for Utah State. Take down a team that's a perennial power in the West Coast Conference, either 1 or 2 just about every year with Gonzaga.
And what comes with that? A confidence, a belief. Well, we can play with the Pac-12 foe next, why not?
An off-balance Dort. Remarkable finish.
Open floor basketball. Blink, you might miss it. I'm telling you, he's a running back with a basketball in his hands. Use of the Euro step, but like all great finishers, despite contact, keeps his eye on the goal. Three-point play opportunity. It's a tough finish.
Dort had 17 in the win Monday night. And already up to 19 tonight. Lawrence blows right by Keita, who then grabs the rebound. Dort very well could have been called for a foul there. Merrill spins past him. Keita gracefully tips it in. This is just blow for blow right now between these two squads. Offensive foul called under the basket. Romello White can't believe that.
You want to see a 7-0. How about the shot fake from Brock Miller to get the jumper? And then we talked about that 7'4" wingspan. Or how about just the bench there cheering, getting behind their guys? That's what propelled this Utah State team to a win 2 days ago. Everybody buying in. Starts from above with Coach Craig Smith. And again, it's coming alive now.
John Knight III, the sophomore from Jackson, Mississippi, makes it 47-44. Utah State trailed by 2 at halftime after leading for most of the first half.
Calling out government names for that move.
That's why I don't dance at weddings. I can't hang on the dance floor. We forgot the part where you have to bring your hands up to the side of your head. That was the problem.
I'm glad we fixed that problem for the national audience to see it. Appreciate that.
Well, whoever's staying up tonight is staying up late no matter what time zone you're in, so we're glad you're with us no matter what. 47-46, Utah State looking to remain perfect and go to 6-0. 6-0 would be their best start. You gotta go back a ways, 1966-67. So you're digging back into the annals of Aggies history there.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you wanted Vegas dancers, you're welcome, everybody.
Massively underwhelming. Headline versus reality. Dort's got a game-high 19. He drops off for Cherry, who rattles it in. Tayshawn Cherry, originally committed to USC, kept similar colors though. Changed his commitment to Arizona State. It's Knight, rejected forcefully by Cherry at the bucket. Here comes Martin, looking to dish, and it's tipped off the hands of Brito.
Cherry wanted another one there, had his feet ready, looking for the catch and shoot. Martin missed it.
K-Tuck calling for it. One-on-one against Lake. Help comes, he kicks. Brito had his shot altered, just 8 to shoot. Merrill's their leading scorer tonight with 12. He's double teamed and coughs it up. And with nobody gaining clear possession there, it's a shot clock violation. Dort was thinking about a rim-shattering play at the other end. Now he's slow to get up.
Yeah, slow to get up. Narrowly missing an opportunity again in transition. Couldn't corral that thing to move. Just defensively, just no foul there, but the motor, the desire, trying to get that basketball, get it going the other way. Shot clock violation, but defensive stand. Can you build off that if you're Arizona State? Now, you got to operate in the half court. It's not necessarily how you want to get out transition, but you got the pieces. Lawrence still has some shots in him. Cherry's confident right now. He should play through Dort without question.
He got whoopee cushioned as he went to the ground there. All the air came out at once from his chest. Another offensive foul. That's on Lake, his second.
So we've covered the Macarena. You mentioned the whoopee cushion.
And we still have 14 minutes to go.
We are firmly in the 90s here in 2018.
Don't count anything out. This game, Jordan, has just been yo-yoing back and forth. As our references continue to slinky downhill into the obscure. Out of bounds. Stays here. Now Marquise Pettigrew is going over to take a look at the monitor. So we'll see exactly what he's looking at. Certainly of concern to Bobby Hurley, who again for the second straight game has gone coat and tie. He did actually wear the suit jacket out onto the floor and then during warmups discarded it on his chair at the head of the bench. So did the ball hit the rim is the question.
I don't think so.
Didn't appear to there. So that'll change. Shot clock appear to be about 18 now. They'll put it at 17 seconds.
Almost a scary moment for Keita. Glad he's able to hold on to the rim.
Here comes Cherry. One dribble. And pounds it home and gets the bench to its feet.
Some contact there, too.
He's fired up back on the defensive end. With what turns out to be a pretty quick possession. Out of bounds, last touched by the Sun Devils. That's a bold move to pull that off in traffic.
You got the sundae, you got the ice cream, you got the syrup. You got to put a cherry on top, right? Ooh. You got to let him know about it, too. You got to let the defender know about it.
Knight at 6'2" against a 6'8" Cherry. Valiant effort. Try and get in there and disrupt the play. Merrill gets hit hard. Right back to his feet as his teammates converge to help him.
Now this is a huge crossroads in the game. For Merrill to be able to drive, draw a foul right there, it's big time. Because I've always said, everyone who has the response, and it's always the ones who can't dunk, would say, oh, a dunk's only worth 2 points. It's worth more because it gets your team going, gives them a little bit of juice, and you build a run. And Merrill responds with that and takes the air out of that play.
And that's a move for what has been for the majority of this game, a perimeter-oriented team, having Keita sitting out quite a bit. Something that took some stones to drive through there against players who are bigger and stronger than him. Some blood got on Keita's jersey, and White goes to the bench at the other end for Arizona State, perhaps the player who got split open.
So interesting coming into this one. Coach Hurley, he knows his personnel. He said, I feel like this could be a game where Cherry really steps up. The game's starting to slow down for him. He's doing it offensively, defensively, and then the facialization.
Well, you saw why Knight III was sprinting so hard back down the floor after Cherry had just nearly flattened his shot against the backboard at the other end. Merrill made the first here after being fouled and has a chance to pull it to within one. Now 14 for Merrill. Dort bringing it up, has 19. Altered shot, and he rattles it through. 22 points for Luguentz Dort.
He has made the three. He's had to work for those three-point shots, hasn't he? Showing all facets of his game, and then you leave Merrill wide open. Big time.
Brown's got the body to hang under the basket. 54-52. Dort sees just a sliver of space. Basket and one.
It's an embarrassment of talent in that young man. 6'4". I don't remember looking like that when I was a freshman. Okay, so off the rhythm bounce, contest, hits the shot from three, and then bangs down low with the trees. I'm telling you, there's Zion Williamson's body, the next most impressive in college basketball. Look at this, the rip through, in and out, animal style.
He doesn't have a double-double yet, but he's closing in on it. 24 points to go along with 6 rebounds.
Got to get greedy here if you're the Sun Devils. Got to build. I use Dort off the ball screen with how easy he's been able to get to the rim, having himself a night.
Dwayne Brown Jr. snatched it from Lawrence, and he gets called for the foul, his first. 11:56 to play. The Sun Devils up by 5, equaling their largest lead of the night. Dort's been the star. Wasn't a top 100 player playing in Canada, but he'll be on draft boards near you real soon. Number 25, Wisconsin onto the semifinals. Tomorrow, 1:30 on ESPN. Dayton, Virginia at 4 Eastern on either ESPN or ESPN2. Mike Cousins, Jordan Cornette, our crew, glad to have you with us tonight from Las Vegas. The championship game. Here the main event. Utah State trying to go to 6-0 for the first time since the 60s. Arizona State looking to match a 5-0 start they had last year as well. And they can win another championship here in Vegas. It'd be their second in fewer than 365 days. Last year in Vegas, they won against K-State and Xavier. They got into the top 25 for the first time since the 08-09 season. First half was a little dicey, injury-wise. Remy Martin, number 1 for the Sun Devils, had his leg tended to by the athletic training staff. He's come back and looked as sharp as anybody on the floor. Just 6 for him tonight. but he impacts the game in so many ways.
He loves that rhythm dribble in the mid-range, where he's at his best. Doesn't flirt with the three-point shot too much.
And the shots that he makes look good are the ones that you used to practice in the driveway, the off-balance shot, and those go in for him.
It's very unconventional in his release.
Taylor, the illegal screen. A big difference between the Monday win against St. Mary's. Neemias Keita had 24. Tonight his minutes have been limited because of foul trouble. He's only taken 3 shots. Merrill still a consistent contributor, but it's been more difficult for him to find good looks.
Yeah, for Keita, I was curious in the second half what it would be like. Could he adjust, stay locked in? A freshman struggles with that more than an upperclassman would.
That's part of the deal with being a freshman too, is you're going to have some of those nights where you look like an all-world player and then other nights where you just struggle to figure it out.
You know what they say the best part of being a freshman is? You become a sophomore. Unless you're Duke's freshman. And you could argue that they look like freshmen down the stretch. R.J. Barrett did not know what a pass was in those last few possessions. 0 for 5 in the last minute. How many shots did he miss today?
16 shots.
Woo.
He was 0 for 5. The team was 0 for 7 in the final minute. And one of those types of games was bound to come around. Zion Williamson, R.J. Barrett shot 42% in the paint after shooting better than 60% there over their first 5 games. So sometimes you're going to look great. Sometimes come back down to earth.
I don't know how you miss 16 shots when you got all that NBA talent. That's to answer a lot of questions in the locker room with your teammates.
Three-pointer, back-to-back buckets. Remy Martin has come alive. Largest lead of the night for ASU at 62-55. No fear, though, from John Knight III, taking it right into the defense.
See how this thing plays out. Dort, the dribble drive, again, commands every defender on the floor. All 5 guys key in on the dribble drive from Dort, which allows everyone open. Remy Martin, again, you talk about that three-point shot, Mike. When it's open like that, it's a high percentage shot. I don't care who you are.
Part of the defensive effort yesterday against St. Mary's, Jordan Ford. Same thing today for Lugan Stewart. Craig Smith, the head coach of Utah State, said it's got to be all 5 players defending the other team's leading scorer. And when it's a guy like Dort, you need at least 2 or 3 bodies to step in front and make him change his mind from shoot to pass.
No question, Mike. Take a look. He's hitting shots from the perimeter. He's dribble driving. So the Aggies have to have a complete focus. And when I say complete focus, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys on him right there. So he makes the identification, recognition, kicks it out. You see a three-point shot.
Oh my goodness! Lugan Stewart does it again.
Dort with the bullseye.
Reach-in foul on Lake. That's his 5th, so his night is done.
Ooh, notice
but
the
things
Aggies
are just getting started for number 0.
There's an extra step on this young man's ladder. In traffic. Nobody, I don't care even if you got the 6'11" Keita is getting up there with him on out.
It looked like he was stopped.
Mike, I need to let the nation know something right here. You're looking at a first-round talent. First-round talent in the draft whenever he wants to go. He's that kind of player. And he's a secret right now, but the secret's going to be out. Bobby Hurley, Coach Bobby Hurley, as a big-time player on his roster. And you're seeing it all come out. He's showing you the jumper. He's showing you the defensive ability, a physical specimen that can get to the rim. It's all on display here in Vegas.
Well, they picked a good year to get Dort on campus, considering that they lost their top 3 scorers from a year ago, which equaled 57% of their scoring. Dort tonight has 27 of their 64.
I'm talking top 15 prospect. That kind of good.
And it's a little surprising because I was bouncing around yesterday and checking out mock drafts on multiple sites. Didn't really see him.
Which is perfect. That's probably how Coach Hurley wants it. Keep him under the radar. Keep exploding on opponents like this. Utah State needs a response. It's got to come from Merrill. Inside out game with Keita. ISO right here.
Cherry was waiting to swat it away. 3-on-2. Cherry. He defends and then delivers at the other end of the floor.
And now the Sun Devils are playing their type of game. It has shifted to a Sun Devils performance. Open floor, physical, dig downs, turnovers. You gotta love it.
Craig Smith, normally you can find him with a smile on his face, not at the moment as he calls timeout. For Arizona State freshman Lugensdorf.
Such a beautiful blend of physicality and finesse. Selflessness as well, the dribble drive, the kick out. And then he thrives in the open floor. Like not many can. Elevation. But he's always there to help up his guys. Don't worry, I got you. I got you, Zylan.
Yeah, well, when you got biceps like that, that's like picking up a piece of paper. Season high for him in the first 4 games. It's 28. So he's well on his way to surpassing that. Merrill steps into it. Closes the gap to 6. What do you think the message was in the Aggies huddle? They called the timeout to try and settle things down.
Continue to operate in the half court. What a response from Cherry. Confidence brimming out of that young man. Continue to run your offense. Continue to move with a purpose. As many points as they can convert in the half court, it takes away the transition game from Arizona State. It's that domino effect. Got away from travel.
Didn't get away with a 3-second violation under the basket called by Ray Natilli.
Rhythmless. Keita with the foul trouble in the first half, only 6 minutes. Failed to adjust back in when he drew his third in the second half. He's been a non-factor.
He looked so smooth going over either shoulder yesterday and had one bucket like that today, but other than that, like you said, non-factor.
I would say he's lost his aggressive nature to attack the rim. He's right there and he's passing it off. He's going to convert those big fellas.
Baseline feed hit the baseline, so it's out of bounds. So what does Utah State have to do to get back into this game down 69-60? Jordan will give us the answer when we come back. UFC headquarters not far from here. Passed by there on our way to our desert dinner destination last night. So 69-60. My cousin's Jordan Cornette here with you in Las Vegas. What do the Aggies need to do to make this a game that's going to go down to the wire?
A little bit of that. Think about, can we dance with your dates? You got to dance with the date who brought you. And for the Aggies, what got them here? The two-man game. A little bit of Merrill, a little bit of the big fella Keita. They got to play a two-man game spaced out on one side of the floor. It allows Keita to make plays at the rim or the kick out for the three-point stroke, the smooth one of Merrill.
And Keita has been playing a little bit more timid than we saw from him on Monday against St. Mary's. But he's only got 3 fouls, so he can loosen up, live a little bit.
You're now almost, you're 1 media timeout away. You can start to play like you have, well, not necessarily no fouls, but 3 at this point is not as questionable.
More arms and legs in that jumper from Martin. And the foul off the rebound.
And they're going to get Keita
Yeah,
for
that's
his
his fourth.
Wow. I thought that was going Brown's way. And yeah, I guess I told him. I said, you can get enough.
We didn't mean that quickly.
Free. Not that quick. Now you got to take him out.
Puts Cheatham at the line for a 1-and-1.
You keep him in the game, that's fine, but you got a tentative big. So, yes, you keep your big fella on the floor, but it's not like keeping a point guard on the floor playing with 4. He's going against some grown men in the interior that have increased the physicality of this game, and he's playing with 4.
Well, he's going against big players with the ball when he's on offense, but when the Sun Devils have the ball, they're attacking right at him.
There's only one place, Mike, that ball needs to go next time down, and everyone consequently after is to whomever Keita's guarding. That needs to be ISO and say, okay, big fella, can you guard with 4? So I'm going at your chin.
What about just having Dort drive it right at him?
Perfect.
Merrill caught Mitchell in the air. And the big man who wears 2 different colored shoes picks up his second foul.
Yeah, I don't understand that look. I can get down with a lot of things going with the college athletes these days. 2 different shoes, like you said, that's an expensive play. I buy twice as many shoes to mix and match, right?
I caught it during shoot-around today and thought it might be, you know, the shoes where the inside's one color, the outside's the other color. But it's all the time for him.
Hey, it's so bad, I guess it's good. Right here, ISO basketball. Interesting, they're going to put Keita on Mitchell. If I'm Mitchell, put him out on the perimeter, see if he can guard.
Traveling. So even though Keita's got 4 fouls, first-year head coach, rookie player, says, no, don't take me out just yet. Craig Smith said Keita, who came from almost nothing in Portugal, so appreciative of everything. First time he walked into the cafeteria, saw the buffet laid out, and said, I can have any of this? I said, yeah, you can go for seconds. You can have as much as you want. But he's also going to be assertive, too. Ball bounced like it had some flubber on it. Taking a huge hop on him, out of bounds. And it's Aggies' ball again.
Poor decision there from Remy Martin, who's been so good with the basketball the minute they arrived in Vegas. Too much traffic. You got the lead. I love being in attack mode. Pull it back out, run some offense.
Trying to find Keita in the high post to set up the ball screen for Merrill.
Yeah, you got to get Mitchell out of the game, get in a physical big to challenge Keita to foul him out. Got to get one of your big boys in there. You're allowing Keita to stay in this game.
Offensive foul on Dort. The Aggies have been waiting for that call all night long, and they get it in crunch time.
There's a full spectrum of what Dort offers up. Sees an advantage, sees a gap. Predictable spin, not understanding gears. He's been so good throughout the night, identifying that help defense, kicking out. This spin move took away the visibility there.
Got to give credit there to Merrill as well for maintaining legal guarding position, moving his feet, and keeping his chest in front of Dort the whole time. Hard to do.
It's not been an easy assignment. Merrill continued to play at a high level and produce in his own right.
Through contact, Taylor draws the foul. Disappointed in himself he didn't finish. For the most part tonight, Dort has been able to pick up the blocking foul. And Hurley's saying, hey, how's it going to change now?
He's got to stand up for his guy. When you're that physical, sometimes the officials key in on you unfairly. Coach Hurley trying to do the job to keep these officials honest in regards to a star play.
And Dort's getting the explanation as well. And Kelly Self, the official, to say, here's why it was a charge. Dort through 2. This time the foul's on the floor. That caught up with Taylor, and that's his 5th foul. So he fouls out for the 2nd time in as many games. The Aggies await the return of Keita. Here he comes.
This is going to be an interesting exchange here. Taylor's used up his eligibility with the fouls, so now you bring Keita back in. But personnel, different for Arizona State. What I was calling for, Coach Hurley identified and brought in Romello White at 6'8", more physical. Needs to be iso ball next time down. Foul out another big and a critical piece for the Aggies. Here's your opportunity. Aggies couldn't grab the rebound. Arizona State has their chance.
We'll see if Villanova can get back on track Thursday. That's tomorrow, Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. 1:30 Eastern, ESPN2. And a full slate of games for you tomorrow. You got Thanksgiving football, Thanksgiving basketball. No need to move. Another fadeaway. Makes it look so easy. Martin's got 11 now. Cherry has 15 and Dort a game high 27. Nearly a takeaway. 5-on-4, a travel. Brown's eyes got so big.
All Remy Martin. He gets the basket on one end, and he's moving around as an irritant, just trying to be disruptive. Shooting gaps, trying to get in passing lanes. Brown thought he had the kick out. Remy flirted with getting there. Disruptive turnover.
You ever try to catch a fly and you don't have a fly swatter? And you're just with your hand, and just when you think you got it, you miss it?
There's only one Karate Kid out there.
That's Remy Martin. You think you've got him corralled, and then he slips away.
And as the game gets later, Remy Martin becomes more of a factor.
Miller, great three-point shooter. Not had his stroke tonight.
Oh, I don't like that call. I don't like that call. Cherry, that looked like a fundamentally sound block out to wall off the rebounder. Unless there's a hook and hold, which by the letter of the law is a flagrant one, I don't know how that's a violation. You tell me, Mike, if my crazy ball goes up, watch 35, Cherry. Yeah, I guess there's some grabbing in the jersey. Yeah, it's a good call.
With the extension of the right arm, had he kept it up, locked like the letter L, he's probably safe. That's a tough call.
It's one of those where the officials can look at me and say, left, right, sit down, we'll handle this, my friend.
Speaking from experience?
Yeah, been there. Been there a few times.
Still a 5-point game with 4.5 minutes to go.
Game slowed back down. Advantage Aggies.
Dort goes off the screen, finds a wide open Martin.
The first look, good look for Martin. You think about it, you dribble, then you have a high contest matchup.
Merrill. Oh, he did a nice job, caught White off balance and fouls him out of the game. So White becomes the second Sun Devils player to pick up his 5th foul. In just a matter of minutes, Lake and White foul out.
And it's not as blatant as a 9-0 run for you to say that momentum is shifted in the Aggies' favor, but the game is slowed down, and it's so obvious. And with that, you see momentum clearly shifting in the Aggies' favor.
Merrill's got 23 tonight. Last year's 7th best three-point shooter in all of college basketball, 3 of 6 from beyond the arc. And he, for the most part, has carried the Utah State offense. It's the first time they've really been in a close game in their 5 this year. Their smallest margin of victory came Monday against St. Mary's, a 17-point win. Miller called for the foul on the wing.
Talked about the physicality of Arizona State and how they've earned it at the line in their first few games of the season. Going to be living in this 1-and-1 down the stretch.
Relatively quiet night for Lawrence tonight, just 7 points 1 of 8 shooting, coming off his best game of the season Monday against Mississippi State, where he scored 22.
He's had those looks. They've been looks. He just hasn't been able to convert. I get this funny feeling, though, he's got a couple big shots left in him here down the stretch.
Well, his offense has just been so much more than what it was last year. We mentioned he didn't get to play until January because of injury, and he's already made more field goals and three-point shots this year than he did all of last year.
Being healthy has been huge for his confidence and his rhythm.
Merrill teetered out of his first look from 3.
Sun Devils get real reckless running away from Merrill and allowing him to get clean looks. There needs to be awareness of him in the half court at all times.
Especially when they know the ball's likely going his way. Ten to shoot for ASU.
Keita with 4 fouls, not being challenged.
Here comes Mitchell, and he scores over the freshman big man.
But that's it. That sequence shows it. Keita cannot defend as the shot blocker he wants to be. Mitchell went right at him. Those hands were down because Keita didn't want to violate.
Merrill on the move, floats it from 15. 2 bounces and out. Keita wants the loose ball, goes to the deck, calls timeout, and gets it with 2:53 to play. The Aggies fighting to stay undefeated, down a touchdown, with ASU hoping to go 5-0. The finale when we return.
Basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Hurry in today for huge Black Friday savings.
Utah State won by 17 on Monday, their closest game of the season against St. Mary's. Arizona State just a 5-point winner over Mississippi State on Monday. And I didn't think I'd see anything more impressive than a couple getting married by a fake Elvis at the Las Vegas sign today. But this game has been much more impressive than that.
Stay solid, stay solid. Stay solid, Lou.
Keita just 5 points today, number 23 in white, the big man for Utah State. Merrill, though, has been the answer time and time again. 27 points for him.
Merrill has been remarkable, carrying this team on his back.
As has Dort. 27 points for him as well. One of the better scoring performances by an Arizona State freshman. There he goes.
That's it. That's it for Keita. Exactly what I've been calling for. You got it from the man you were asking for it from, Mike. Dort on a drive right at the chin of Keita, and all he can do is foul. Begrudgingly, of course. Now you got that one-on-one. Dort with the awareness goes right at him, and that's a foul. And now this game has shifted for a team that wants to win it in the paint. For the last 2 minutes and 15 seconds, your centerpiece, your rock down low, your rim protector is no more.
He had 24 points on Monday. Today, just 5.
Competition down low was elevated. There's talent that they faced early on, and not to take anything away from St. Mary's, but that front line is not the front line that the Sun Devils boast. And there are challenges, most especially with him to play cleanly in a physical one and not violate. He could not figure that out. But this is the growing pains that you'll see. This kid has an incredibly bright future. He's going to win a lot of games for this team. This is one to go back, look at film, and learn how to improve.
.29 for Dort. Arizona State once again leads by 7. Utah State at one point enjoyed a lead of that many points. Back at the 14-minute mark of the first half. Miller gets the stroke from 2.
Brock Miller has mastered defense running at him, head fake, one dribble pull-up. That's all repetition.
Miller's the communicator here on defense. One of the things that Craig Smith loves about his veterans, they can get everybody in the right spot. But nobody's there to stop Dort again. 31 points. Merrill always thinking about scoring. And it's an offensive foul. Illegal screen against Utah State at a time where they could least afford it.
Just the tale of two different games. Monday, riding high, 24 points, 5 blocks, a win. Today, 5 points, 5 fouls, and bewilderment. The life of a college basketball freshman on full display. And if you look back at Utah State, I have a couple question marks. One of the ones you got to ask is, how can we win a game with 19 turnovers?
Dort's going to the free throw line here. 31 points for him, which is near one of the best performances by a freshman in Arizona State history. The freshman record is 35 points, set 92 by Mario Bennett. And then Jahi Carson has the next 2. And Dort ties Carson's mark from back in 2013 against Washington, leapfrogging Byron Scott from a game against Arizona in 1980.
The young man is a star. A star.
So minute 3 to go. Arizona State, if they can go free throw for free throw here with Utah State, has this one in the bag. Where do you feel like this game took a turn away from Utah State, which led for almost 12 minutes of the first half and into Arizona State's favor?
Utah State was able to slow this game down in those first 12 minutes, make it a half court, take out the transition. They were also competing on the backboard, eliminating second chance from the Sun Devils. That took a turn towards the end of that first half, and when the second half came out, Keita, no rhythm, the physicality, started to compete on the backboard for the Sun Devils, forcing turnovers, 19 of them, allowing them to get out and run, and the tide simply turned. That man right there.
Another
yes, a turning point when the bus arrived and Dort made it off safely. That's when it changed.
There goes Martin full speed ahead. Hard foul with Brown coming through. Aggies not going down quietly.
Watch out below. A lot of athletes on the floor. Brown said, not today. Lawrence, you're not going to punctuate this game on me, and then quickly goes to shake his hand, make sure he's okay. You love the sportsmanship. This game's not over, Mike. 7 points, a lot of game left. Got to make these free throws down the stretch. With how Brock Miller can knock down shots, Merrill's been magnificent. You can get some quick ones. Sun Devils help you out from the free throw line with misses. Anything can happen.
1 of 2 for Lawrence to give him 10. Not the optimal outcome for Arizona State.
And this is what you see so many times with teams with a comfortable lead in the waning seconds of the game. They just change defensively what they've been doing. And this is how teams creep back in it.
So they'll put Cheatham at the strike.
It's nice to have rebounders who can get up like no one else on the floor can. That's a certain type of rebounder. There's ones who box out and maybe have to jump with everybody else, and there's ones who can just jump higher than everybody else. Cheatham is one of them.
The excellent addition, the transfer from San Diego State. And it's worth mentioning as well, for as good as Arizona State has looked over these last 2 games, they're still anticipating the return of Rob Edwards, the transfer from Cleveland State, who's played just 1 game this year, battling a back issue, and they expect him back at some point next week. Remember, they've got a week off after this game, and still lots of non-conference competition to go into December. They play Nevada, Paul West at Staples Center in LA. They play at Vanderbilt, the top 60 team, and they host Kansas after beating them last year.
Much respect to Coach Hurley and the job he's done with what they lost in their backcourt. Turnover.
And timeout, Utah State, a 5-point game with 30 seconds to go. Arizona State sloppy underneath the basket there. Last couple times, a foul from Lawrence, and here a turnover that leads to a layup.
Mental lapses. With a lot of game left, anything can happen here. Got to stay focused and locked in.
So what's the message right now where if you're Arizona State, you're up by 5, hey, let's not let this slip away. Utah State down 5, what's the plan of attack?
Utah State, quick, operate fast, get out and go. Defensively, you're going to try and look for a steal here if you're Utah State. Then when you don't get it, foul. But you want to make this the longest 30 seconds that you can possibly do. What Arizona State's been doing at the free throw line, there could be misses. Okay, get those out, off blockouts, get those, go, get early offense.
We'd hope after these 2 games that there aren't many people who don't know who Luguentz Dort is.
Sure.
And we're on late tonight, so maybe there are some people who are falling asleep already.
Yeah, there's some that still may not know who Dort is.
But I hope they at least look at a box score, because we're talking about the Duke freshmen a lot, and for good reason, because they're up until today the best team in the country and with some of the best players in the country, but Dort deserves to be in the conversation as well.
Yeah, and what Dort brings you is that Zion Williamson effect. Look, he's not Zion Williamson. Nobody's saying that. But it's the allure of Williamson has been the physique and the talent that comes with it. And with Dort, there's no physique like him at the 2-guard spot in college basketball. There's simply not. He can get to wherever he wants on the floor. Oh, you got to try. See, Utah State had the trap. You hold the trap a little bit longer there to pursue a steal before you throw in the towel and foul. A little too eager from the Aggies there. Like here, you got 2 guys, and look, Remy sold a lot of it, but stay locked in defensively. There's a turnover potential. It was very high right there.
And they had the defender, the baseline as the 3rd defender on that play.
And he's 6 feet tall, so he's not passing over the defense when you got the trap like that. You see that a lot. Guys get lost in the moment of, oh man, we got something going here. And then you just reckless abandon, and inevitably there's a foul. Now they're going to do the due diligence here, I'm guessing, to see if there was anything flagrant because of the reaction from Remy Martin. They will not see that. I think they're going to try and see if he got hit in the head or anything like that. Nope. Was that the knee from Merrill that caught him in the ear? Let's see. Yeah, so that was not on purpose.
Knee to shoulder.
Looks like it caught him in the side of the ear, too. Official's going to say play on.
Martin's proven tough, though. Sat on the bench in the first half, towel over his head. Trainer attending to his leg. He told you before the game his ankle's only at about 70%. He didn't practice yesterday or today. And now takes the bump on the side of his head and steps to the line to shoot free throws.
It hasn't been the game that he's going to go back and marvel at, whereas, he went 16 points, 7 assists, no turnovers 2 nights ago. Tonight, 3 turnovers, no assists, but he's made some big-time shots as he's sitting there with his 13th point. I hear you got to guard. Got to guard smartly. Don't foul a shooter, but continue to keep guys in front.
Aggies going to the basket looking for contact. They end up with a missed shot and frustration, marching the Sun Devils to the opposite free throw line.
Going back to what these Sun Devils have, still an opportunity here on a missed free throw, but without Rob Edwards, who's a guy who's wired to score the ball, averaged 16.5 points per game last season. Talking with Coach Hurley, when we first arrived in Vegas, he said, I truly believe he was going to be our leading scorer. Now he still has a chance to do that when he returns, but that speaks to what's not here and yet still what they're doing.
Sitting on the verge of 90 points. Well, not really a sequence to remember there for Mickey Mitchell.
Yeah, that stops the clock, allows everything to get set here and go. It's literally one of the worst things you'd want to happen there.
Another opportunity for Utah State. It's Brown, and he's fouled by Dory. This is a film room learning opportunity these last few minutes for the Sun Devils, with fouls and turnovers allowed.
The clock is your friend, Sun Devils. The last thing you want is a scoring opportunity with that number 12 at a standstill.
And a shrinking deficit on the scoreboard. So Mitchell is out in favor of Cherry, knowing that another foul will be coming, and after his last 2 attempts, they'd prefer someone else to be at the strike, perhaps. And Dort speeds across mid.
How about this?
Slips the defense and looks to dribble out the clock. Refs won't blow the whistle until it's over. 87-82, Arizona State, for the second time in less than a year, takes home a championship from Las Vegas. Thanks for staying up with us here tonight. On behalf of our entire crew, my partner Jordan Cornette, I'm Mike Cousins, saying so long from Las Vegas. The Sun Devils improved to 5-0 with a championship here in Las Vegas.